Sometimes you got to place the bet. Sometimes you got to place the bet and bet the whole house. Not knowing what you're going to lose, not knowing what you're going to gain, but you know there's something in that. Whatever those gut feelings are, those emotions are that's holding you back, keep pushing, keep striving forward, keep trying to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Along that road, man, it'll get lonely. There are a lot of times where there are people that you used to be associated with, you distance yourself with, you're growing. That's probably the most turbulent time in your life because you got a big heart. You want people close. You want to do right by people. That just speaks to your character and your heart. But sometimes people don't have your best interest in heart. And sometimes you have to open your eyes and see that. And no one's going to spell it out for you. You're going to have to read in between the lines or judge people based upon their character, based upon their behavior. But place that bet. And when you place that bet on yourself. Make sure you don't sell yourself short, you know. Um, no, I came in hot. So happy new year to everybody. I appreciate those that have listened. I appreciate those that have listened to an episode, clicked on something I may have posted. I appreciate all of that. I hope that continues and I hope we can trend in an upward path and go on this journey together, man. So let's jump right into it. You supposed to be where you're supposed to be and go through what you're supposed to go through. You could try your best to change your course, change your outcome, change what life looks like for you. But a lot of stuff is already ordained. A lot of stuff has already been decided. And whether you believe in or whoever you believe in, everyone has a path and a journey that doesn't look the same, doesn't look like other people's path and journey, and they trying to get over that hurdle. And when you get to the hurdle, the first hurdle, you get it right across it. You know, it's not challenging. It makes you hesitant, but that's the game of life. You hit obstacles and you start noticing different things and you become hesitant, you become sort of complacent, you become afraid. You let fear overrule, but then you get across that hurdle and it's like, man, I could do that. Then you come up on the next hurdle. The next hurdle you're facing, something totally different, something you didn't see coming, and you're not as hesitant because you're looking at the one you already crossed and say, well, you know what? I could do that. I could do this. And each hurdle gets taller. Each hurdle gets harder to cross. And it's a battle with yourself as to not convincing yourself that you can get across that hurdle. Some people don't look at it like that, and that's cool. I understand. But as you get older, they get harder to cross. Not because you're getting older, but because you've got more favor, you got more blessings, you got more things trending in the right direction, that the height and that the hurdle that you're trying to cross, what it's going to take is going to be more because now you're more exposed, you're more at risk of taking chances because whatever you've amassed, you don't want to lose it on a technicality. So that hurdle could be anything that you're dealing with in life. And you can look back to your childhood, you can look back to high school, you can look back to your college years and say, you know what, okay, I did this, I did that. This is how this turned out. I wonder if I could do something totally different and it have a totally different outcome. Now we don't know the answer to that because everybody's life story is always going to be different. No matter what or how we look at it, our life stories are going to be very different. It'll be comparable. We can learn from each other. We can bounce things off of each other, but for the most part, it's not always going to be a pleasant road to travel across because a lot of people want to see you do good, but then the amount of people that want to see you do good, you got just that amount behind you that want to see you do bad, if not double. And it's people that just prey on your downfall. So you want to stay on course, you want to stay on track, but you always want to look back and reflect on them hurdles that you already came across, man, because that's probably the most challenging thing that you'll ever face in your life. That hurdle could be relationships, it could be a job, it could be a bad friendship, it could be family members, it could be a whole host of things that you never see. It could be a total stranger. You just never saw it coming. Here's a hurdle. Now, the thoughts that's going through your head as you attempt or think you need to cross this hurdle, those first thoughts, those going to be the ones you want to stick to because they're not going to be negative. They may be negative to a degree, but they're going to be more close to a positive thought versus when you sit there and you hesitate. Now you allow a lot of negative thoughts to creep in and you're trying to rectify a situation, you're trying to change a situation so you can get over this hurdle, give yourself that momentum, boost yourself up, and then you get stuck. And we see it all the time because I'm sure we all know someone that hasn't maximized their potential and they're stuck in this rut and they're stuck in this place. And we hate to see it, especially if it's someone you love. You hate to see it. At the same time, you know there's some things they're gonna have to deal with and face that you can't really assist them with. At some paths, you just have to go it alone. Sometimes it's like having that parental relationship where you have a mother, you got a father, you have uncles, you have aunts that have an impact on your life, and then you're going through things as a young man or a young woman, and the truth of it all is the best lesson comes out of failure or whatever you deem to be a failure. So you want to see people sort of fall. You don't want to see them hurt themselves and you don't want to see them in a position where they can't get back up. But the lesson was in the fall. What did you do to brace for impact? That impact could be different for a lot of different people, in regards to how you um how you see it. But all of those people they play a valuable part in the community, in the village, in your rearing, your upbringing, and it helps you with your mindset when you get to hurdles because it could be something that's done 20 years ago that you remember now, and you're 30 years old, but you still going back to that time when you was 10 and you either saw your mother do something, your father do something, aunt, uncle, older brother, older sister, cousins, whoever. They were there watching you. They made sure you were straight, but they also made sure you got that lesson. And that travels with you for life. The hardest thing for most people to face is failure. And the truth is, as you get older, it becomes easier because you see the invaluable lessons that come from it. Now, does some of it have some pain, emotional pain? Hopefully, it's not physical pain, but some mental pain, anguish. Yeah, some of that exists. A lot of it probably exists if we're going to be completely honest. But in regards to this conversation, you want it to be present. You want to see it. You want it to be there in your face so you can see it. It's no worse thing than being in a position where you're looking at what's in front of you, but you don't have any recollection on what to do with it or how to manage it. Even if you're just trying to keep something at bay. Or you bet the house. Say, you know what? I'm all in. I don't care how this go, which direction this go. I'm all in. I'm either gonna stand on 10 and win, or I'm gonna stand on 10, lose, but learn. That's that's the gem right there. How many times have you faced something that you thought you was in a lose-lose situation? How many times have you faced a battle that you didn't see an end to? How many times you emotionally was strained, but someone came through and softened you up? And I'm not talking about a relationship as far as the emotional strain. I'm just saying in general. You lost a loved one, you lost a job, whatever the case is, you were emotionally strained, but there was someone in your corner. And a lot of times, the people that's in your corner, you don't talk to them every day. You don't talk to them every month. You don't see them once a week. You don't see them monthly. But when you going through something, they make their presence known. That goes a mile, miles beyond the people you see that are close to you, that are talking to you, that are trying to give insight, trying to boost you up. But you got this cat coming from left field. He don't want nothing from you. He don't want a damn thing from you. He really want to know where your mental at and how y'all can compound that. That's important. It don't matter your gender makeup. It don't matter what you are. That's important for anybody, any friendship, any relationship, whether it's business, romantic, platonic, it don't matter. You need people that see you, that hear you, that are there for you and don't want shit from you. But the harsh reality in world times and today is everyone's looking for gain. Everybody wants something. Nobody is there. I won't say nobody. A lot of people are not there genuinely. They're there with an agenda. And then once you get hit with the agenda, you're like, damn, you start questioning this whole friendship, this whole relationship, this whole situation. You start just questioning it because you never saw that coming. Best thing you could always do is stay sharp, get wiser, listen to books, read books, listen to podcasts, soak up a lot of wisdom and game. Get a lot of this knowledge from people of different generations. Me personally, I tend to be more inclined and aligned with people who are older than me, but I'm also aligned with people who are younger than me because if I see some of the things that they're doing or facing in life that I had a front row seat to, or information that I possess that they don't know of, I'd rather help you with this information that's free. I ain't charging you for it. You know, sometimes you got to realize that no matter your circumstance in life, you're an expert at something. There's something you've done that not many people close to you, your family, your friends have done. So you have an expert opinion on certain things that they never dealt with. Now, don't go around soliciting that. Don't give them unsolicited advice. But if they come to you, man, give it to them. Give them everything you got. Let them know, hey, these are the steps. This is what you want to do. You want to do this. You want to do that. Whatever the situation is. We don't have enough of that amongst people in general where we're genuinely trying to help people. Everyone is trying to charge somebody for something. Here's a course, here's a document, here's my time, here's this digital product. Shop with me. Sometimes people are tired of being sold. They don't want to be told. They just want to be a part of something that's real, is genuine. You don't have to constantly sell people. If they rock with you, they'll do business with you. I say I am. If I rock with you, I do business with you. If I'm in a restaurant and the servers give me outstanding service, I'm gonna give them the biggest bill I got in my pocket, cash money tip. And I don't want it on the card because I don't want you to get a cut. I want you to get what I want you to have because of what you gave me. And not enough people have that forward thinking to think We should take care of those that are close to us. We should take care of those that help us. We should be there for the people that really are there for us. Excuse me. Excuse me. My time on this planet, I've experienced a lot of different people. I've been different places. I've lived two different places as far as states. But the one thing I've always noticed when I do travel, I always look at the local culture of people. I always look at or look for people that look like me because I want to see how they live. I want to see what their environment looks like. And I'll be honest, man, as a southern guy, adjusting my mic right quick. All right, sorry about that. As a southern guy, deep south, born and raised, South Carolina, when I travel north, I see different people of all races, different kinds of culture from people of all races. And to me, and from my experience, the further north I go, the more confusing but settling it is. Like I said, I'm from South Carolina, and in most people's book from South Carolina, we consider anything above North Carolina the North. They have more northern tendencies. But we make that distinction based upon what we see on TV, based upon what we see on, uh, different marketing materials and in the music industry and whatnot. But when you get here and you actually experience it, it's something totally different. I went to Maryland. There were parts of Maryland that looked like South Carolina, but I didn't see, talk to, or deal with any what I would perceive to be racist or prejudiced people as far as skin color. I went to Delaware and I was utterly taken back because that's a beautiful place. I saw a lot of people that looked like me. I saw a lot of people that didn't, and they all treated me the same. That's something different when you head to the South. Those that know what I'm saying. I think it's healthy if you're able to get out and experience these different things because you never know what it will do for you mentally or from a psychological standpoint that you're able to get out there and experience these different cultures. When I got to Virginia, I wasn't used to this what I've experienced here. And I'm giving all these examples because I want you to get out and experience life. I want you to learn who's in your corner. I want you to see things. You don't have to necessarily leave the country to see things. You know, sometimes when you put all of that into perspective, it makes you who you are. And just having that exposure, it changes something in you, but it also makes you, more disciplined and more knowledgeable to pass that along to your kids or even a friend. If you just tell them, hey man, just get a rental car, just drive up there, experience it, spend the night, drive back. It'll change your perspective. Or go south. If you're from the north and you ain't never been south, come south. Experience it. Um, I've been I've been in different parts of the south and you see different things. You see people that smile in your face, love you because you're spending money. They all see green. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I started this off, I said, place the bet, bet the house. Place the bet, bet the house. Some people's risk tolerance are low. I want you to bet what you can stand and lose and never gain back for a short period of time. So the psychological and mental aspect of that can run its course. It's like when you have a common cold and you take, Theraflu, Tylenol, Nyquil, Dayquil. You take something to suppress the symptoms that you have. You don't want to feel that way, right? Fever, runny nose, cold, cough, whatever. You don't want to feel that. Life is the same way. And those who hold on to that green, that money, and they grip it tight, they have a psychological relationship with that money. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying I don't think it's the healthiest thing because if you got dollars that you're not putting to work for you in any capacity beyond a savings account, you already behind the eight ball in your thinking. You have to change that. Whether it's you got a 401k retirement, whether you have a stock exchange trading account and you got a few stocks in there, the money that's going to do the least for you is the one that's in your personal bank account. If you got it in the house, that money ain't working for you. I remember years ago reading a book, and I suggest you read it. And I'm saying read, but listen to the audio book. I'm more of an audio book person because of how much I can consume in a time frame versus me sitting there and reading it. It's different. But the book was called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, it's not a long book. I think the audio book might have been 5 hours, if that. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But the biggest thing I got from that, and most people probably don't want to hear the analogy that was used to express the point, where he said, treat your money like slaves. When you get two, you produce another one. And now you got three working for you. But he was calling it coin. So if I got $1 or I got $2, and that $2 make me another dollar, now I got $3 working for me. That's simple. But if I take my $3 and I put it in my savings account, I don't invest nothing. I have no money working for me. I have no working capital. I have, you know, nothing working for me. And this is why people close to me, I tell them, Real estate is a great avenue to park money because it's a appreciating asset. So whether you get a mortgage, whatever that house costs you today, 10 years from now, it's going to be worth more. And depending on the market, it might only be five. Really depending on the market, it might not even be a year. You want to have yourself in certain positions where that is a possibility. A lot of people that look like me, they don't get that opportunity or they haven't had that opportunity or have experienced that. I'm approaching 40 and I'm on my third house. Each house appreciated. Each house sold for more than what it was bought for. A lot of times we always on the wrong end of the stick. We just want to live, be comfortable in this one space, and we're not thinking beyond it. And I'm thankful to my grandparents on both sides. They have forward thinking. They're thinking to the future. And I believe that thinking with them, it trickled down into me. To have grandparents on both sides that didn't think for the day, they thought for tomorrow. And they were visionaries. That right there is a skill. A lot of people can't handle the thought, the thought process of a visionary. It brings too much tension to their comfortable space. I've always been a visionary. Anyone that really knows me, I tell you, I look beyond where you're at. If you standing in front of me and we having a conversation, we might be having a conversation generalizing what's right in front of us, but I'm talking about what's down the road. Because I want everybody to grow. And you may be telling me something that I don't know that's going to help me grow. The hardest thing about growth is enduring the pain. Sometimes it looks so easy that we don't think it's painful. Look outside. If you're listening to this while you're driving, look for a tree. Look for the tallest tree that you can see without compromising your safety. How much shit you think that tree went through to get to the heights that it now towers? That wasn't easy. There's trees that have seen many storms, many hurricanes, in some regions of the country, tornadoes, um, floods, excess water. Excuse me. There are many trees that have seen a lot harsh winters. Nothing worse than a cold winter. You got wood. It's hard on the tree, but you can put it in your fireplace and heat your home. It's hard. Trees tell a story, in my opinion, that most humans experience, but they're never able to really get out. they're really never able to fully communicate it because everyone is looking at them for what they can do or what they can produce. Think about it like this. And I apologize if you're hearing the mic sounds. I keep adjusting my mic just to, for clarity purposes. So I apologize. Um, Fruit trees. You got you got trees that bear fruit. You got the pear tree. I'm gonna use the pear tree in this example. There are pear trees that I ate off as a child, as far back as I can remember. So I had to be 8, 9, maybe 10 years old. I ate off of these trees. Fruit, fruit, good pear. Excuse me. At the same time, I don't know how long that tree has been bearing fruit. I don't know. So, how many generations do you think ate off of that tree? And when I think about this, I'm thinking about three particular pear trees that I know for sure that I ate off of. And two of them are less than half a mile away. Hell, might only be an eighth of a mile away from my parents' house. Those trees endured, just like we as people endure harsh winters, hurricanes, lightning, ton of rain, excruciating summers. They still stand. Only thing that's different is now going through all of that, they don't bear as much fruit, but they still bear a lot of fruit. What seeds are you planting in your life? For me, it's not really about me, it's about my children. If I've provided and done more for them than what my father and mother was able to do for me, I feel like that's a success. Not knocking my parents, because I didn't have a rough childhood. And I'm not saying that to rub that in anybody's face. I'm saying that from my experience. My rough is no comparison to some other people's rough or tough times. And no matter the circumstances, you always want better for yourself. You always want better for your children. You always want better for people really close to you because you want to see people succeed. If you got a good heart, now I can't speak to those that don't got a good heart or they ain't solid people. They may not care. They're extremely selfish. They want everything to themselves. All right, cool. We don't lie. We don't lie. I'm not gonna try to align myself with people who only care about themselves. A long time, I wouldn't say a long time, but years past, I feel I was a person that really wanted to people please. I want everybody around me to feel a way, to understand me better understand them. We grow together in abundance. Everybody don't want that. Some people want you to stay where you at, but keep doing what you're doing because it benefits them in a manner that outshines you. But I'm not a selfish person. I don't consider myself to be. And those that oppose me will probably say he's selfish. But those that really love me, they tell you different. Man, he got the biggest fucking heart. He thinking about shit that I ain't thinking about in ways that I ain't thinking about it that has an impact on me for my benefit. Sometimes, I'm going back to what I said earlier, the people that show up for you in the ways that you need them to show up for you is the people that you least expect. But they're there. And the people that you thought would show up in that manner, they're the furthest thing away from you. You on the East Coast, they in Cancun, Mexico. I got out of the people pleasing business. I'm about love, respect, trust. But it all has to be mutual. Ain't no negotiating that. Now, have I been perfect in my endeavors? Nah. Are there things that I've grown and learned from? Yeah. Do I leave room for error or fuck up? Yeah. We all human. We make mistakes. But there's no way I'll fall for or take the same bait twice. But that's life, man. You know, you got to really go through everything that you're dealing with, especially from an emotional standpoint, just so you got a better understanding on how to deal with things. And a lot of times, the people that you least expect to be in your corner is right there, right there. And sometimes, as men, we don't get what we need from the source that we crave it from. And when I say that, I'm not talking anything crazy. I'm talking all mental and all emotional. We gotta mend relationships. My whole 2026 is gonna be mending relationships. And why I say that is because I can be colder than ice cold. If you cross a path that ain't no coming back from. We've all heard the saying or said in some close realm of the bridge to nowhere. I'm on Gullah Gullah Island. I'm on an island by myself. For me, once you're a castaway, once you put yourself on an island because of what you've done, ain't no coming back from that island. I may I may come around and say, you know what? I'm gonna come visit you on that island. And we may parlay, we may talk, we may have conversations and whatnot, but I'm not trying to get you off of that island. And you're gonna be on that island. As far as me, in my capacity, because too many times people continue to travel across bridges or travel down roads where they already know the outcome. But for whatever reason, they convince themselves that, you know what, it's going to be better this time around. It's going to be different. We're going to have a better experience. I don't disagree with none of that. Here's why I draw a dilemma. And I heard this quote by Dr. Amos Wilson. This was many moons ago. I'm talking, this had to be like 2010. And I don't even know where he got it from. If you listening to this and you knew where he got it from, hey, shoot me an email. We get it out. Dr. Amos Wilson said, you know a tree by the fruit it bear. Now, in 2010, I couldn't have been no older than 23 years old in 2010. At that time, my grandmother, maternal grandmother, passed away in '09. She definitely was the matriarch of my maternal family. And for whatever reason, I was on this quest of I'm tired of listening to rap music. Just being completely honest. At that time, the music to me at that time that was available, I wasn't on it like that. So I'm having this. I don't want to hear love music, R&B, none of that shit. You know, again, I'm like 23 at the time. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear love music. I don't want to hear baby making music. I don't want to hear no bullshit rap music. I listen to a little bit of Southern Soul every, now and then, but I'm more in a quest for information. Now, this probably gonna predate me to a point where people like, God damn, I didn't use that old. Which I ain't that old, but it's just the time frame that I'm referencing. I started listening to a lot of talk radio around that time. But there was something that I never heard about. Because YouTube was out then, but I've heard about YouTube. But now we in the smartphone era. I'm a Verizon customer. I done had two or three of them damn Motorola Razors because they're a good phone. They work everywhere. Text message, good reception. They don't break easy, but once they get a little age on them, you know what I'm saying? And now it's time to get a new one. And I remember my older cousin went and got a droid. What the fuck is that? Long story short, I ended up by the time I upgraded from Razor to smartphone, new era smartphone at that time for me, it was the Droid X. And I'm on this quest for information because audiobooks aren't as popular at that time. In order to engage with an audiobook, you had to go to the library and get the CD set. That's a thing of the past now. But you had to go to the library, you had to get the CD set so that you can listen to the audiobook. Or if it was a book that was so popular they made a movie like To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember having to, I think it was my freshman year of high school. No, sophomore year of high school. They wanted us to read the book To Kill a Mockingbird. And to this day, I swear to you, I don't read no book that I ain't interested in. Period. I don't give a fuck about the grade. I don't give a fuck if it's $1 million on the line. If I'm not interested in the book, be it the author, the topic of discussion, I'm not reading the book. I'm not putting my energy into something that I have no attachment to. So long story short, I come into SoundCloud. Now some of y'all may remember that. I don't even know if that's still a thing or not. To be honest with you, I really don't. But I come into SoundCloud and I start listening to all kind of random shit because it wasn't music, it was people talking and giving information. And that's how I came across Dr. Amos Wilson and listened to a lot of his lectures. And I thought, damn, this the kind of stuff we've been missing in the South. And I only thought that because from my level of exposure at that time, I wasn't exposed to people that thought like that. I wasn't exposed to free thinkers. I was more exposed to craftsmen, men with superb skills and knowledge to provide for their family, to teach you a trade, to teach you a skill so you can provide for yours. Because that's what we do where I'm from. I don't know or can think of any situation where there was something that was needed in the house as far as a skill needed in the house that I grew up in that either one my father couldn't do, his brother couldn't do, or his cousin couldn't do. And the same for my mother. So as I go into these different tangents and different directions of the conversation, I'm just trying to say you gotta open up the horizons. You gotta think about everything as a whole. You gotta want better for your children than for yourself. You gotta want people to be in a position where they can win. People to be in a position where they can succeed. I believe this year, 2026, I ain't gonna say I believe. This year is my year of abundance. This year, I want everyone that hear the sound of my voice, that's tuned into me, and everyone that hasn't heard, don't know who I am. All I want for you is a year of abundance of whatever you desire. Because whatever you desire, good or bad, you're going to learn from, you're going to grow from, it's going to put you in a better position. Period. Abundance. That's all I want for you. I've said it, I've proclaimed it. Peace and blessings. 2026, year of abundance.